Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Foundation Season 3 by Story Archives. I'm your host, Mario Busto, alongside
the other host, Zachary Newton. Welcome back.
We're back with Season 3, Episode 6, titled
The Shape of Time.
Ah, man. This was the, they did a filler one really well. They did a good filler episode.
I was like, that was a filler. I could feel it was a filler episode. But when I got to the end of it, I'm like, it was actually pretty good though. Like, I liked it. Like somehow they still seem to have these mic drop-esque moments in every episode of this season.
I'm just waiting for whatever the hell DeMarzel's going to pull out of her cap next at this point. It's just like, she was the one behind the bridge bombing. She's responsible for psychohistory now.
Yeah, delivered all of the data. Yeah, what next?
I don't know. She created the atomic bomb. I have no idea.
Maybe. Who knows?
There was like some sort of... All right, so I texted you midway through this episode because I also realized this was a filler for a couple of reasons. We needed a few things to happen. We needed the Mule to get to the first Foundation, and we needed so the Mule now has whisper ship technology, which means he'll be in Trantor like next episode, so it should be a fun little roller coaster the rest of the way, unless we spend a whole episode of him knocking outside the null field, Harry's little Ethereum shaped what does he call that thing?
The vault.
Unless we spend an episode of filler there. But it is essentially the Ethereum logo. That is what it is.
Oh, man.
I'm looking like at the little news thing on the bottom right. I have like CNBC, like I guess a tab for CNBC, and one of the things there is like the Ethereum logo. And it's literally identically the vault. So one of the thoughts I had in this episode, because this episode did seem to revolve mainly about the mic drop moment between Gale and DeMarzel, and just the kind of filling in moment of, you kind of like walk away with this episode feeling more like Harry Selden is a badass than you did before. Like, oh my God, he knew that DeMarzel was a robot. Oh my gosh, he calculated that and knew he needed DeMarzel's memories to fill out psychohistory. Harry Selden is the only character in this show that can make psychohistory make sense to me. Okay? For some reason, when he speaks about it, it makes sense to me. When Gale speaks about it, it sounds like bullshit. I don't know what it is, but whenever Gale says, I am the outlier, I am this, Harry accounted for me, it feels like religious cultish freak. And when Harry talks about it, it's like, oh, he's kind of looking at it from a statistical standpoint, like he's looking at human behavior. But when Gale talks about it, it's very like Jedi-y, like, trust me, bro.
It does feel that way, yeah.
It's like, trust me, bro, I'm the chosen one. And I'm just like, why don't you just choke her out, DeMarzel, and find out? Let's find out if she's the chosen one or not.
Hey,
because if I say Zach, if I say I'm the chosen one, okay, like, let's like break this down.
Bro, if you say you're the chosen one, Hermione's gonna slap you upside the head. Come on, what you talking about?
Let's say I'm the chosen one, and enough people buy my bullshit and believe I'm the chosen one, then I'm technically the chosen one for a little bit, okay? Until I'm dead and everyone realizes like, oh, life goes on. He wasn't the chosen one. You know what I mean? But if I can convince 50 million people I'm the chosen one, then to those 50 million people, I'm the chosen one. And if they continue with that delusion for, 2 to 3
Centuries,
and in fact a couple more generations, then it kind of just continues. So I'm being very harsh on Gale, but I think the one thing about this show that I will say is the reason it won't hit like another show or like another movie, like for example, Harry Potter, okay?
Yeah.
Harry Potter spoiler coming, folks. So if you haven't got it in the last 25 years, it's going to be ended for you right now. J.K. Rowling does something brilliant. She knows the end from the beginning. Okay? She essentially knows the end from the beginning because Harry is unknowingly, you don't find out really until the 6th book, but you can kind of get an inkling once you find out what a Horcrux is, that he's a Horcrux. Okay? So you can kind of get it. But the beautiful thing about Harry Potter, in one side of it, because there's many beautiful layers to the story, is that you can decipher that before the author lets you know that that's the case. Whereas psychohistory, it's kind of just like, trust me, bro, this is gonna happen. Like, for example, we have no idea how she knows it's gonna be 4 months from now that she's gonna fight the mule, but we know now it's gonna be 4 months from now that she fights the mule, and now she's gonna be revolving around the ergosphere of some black hole. And I know we had a bunch of Gale Dornick, disciples that have been infected in the comment section from last episode. But I'm sorry, someone's got to put an end to Gale Dornick. I can't say it in any other plainer language.
Yeah. Well, I got to stop us for a second. If you've been enjoying the show, please go ahead, like and subscribe. This really helps us. I've seen, our subscriber count has blown up a bit. I think we're going to hit that 1,000 follower mark on YouTube before we end this season. So I'm really looking forward to that.
If we hit 1,000 subs by the end of this season, ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement. Zach is going to do the finale episode in the same t-shirt or same dress that Torin was wearing, and I'm going to shave my head and play what is that instrument called? That is the coolest thing to me in the entire show. I texted it to you.
Music. You did text it to me. I think you called it
the Vizzy Sonar. That thing is the coolest thing that I've ever witnessed. And if they created it, I don't know if that is I'm assuming it's in the book, but I want to see that instrument in real life. I would pay to go see someone perform that.
Bro, it seems badass. There are things like bagpipes and like an accordion and God knows what else. Some synthesizers. It's pretty cool. I love that you said you'd shave your head though, because that's where I thought you were going. I thought you were gonna say you'd shave your head. So you might be shaving your head, bro.
I think I'd prefer to wear the shirt. I'd prefer to wear Torin's shirt. Than to shave my head. I got a big head, dude. A shaved head would not look good on me.
I was gonna say
I would wear a bald cap. I'll do a bald cap.
All right, that would actually be hilarious. I'd love to see you with a bald cap. I've never shaved my head, but I have rocked a buzz cut like in the last 5 years or so at some point. Okay. So I could pull that off. That was my childhood hairdo. So, anyways, the whole Gale Dornick your projection into the future thing. I don't know. I think DeMarzel might be onto something where it's kind of like this hallucination. Like either she's right, and guess what? Everybody dies, right? I feel like she dies, the mule dies, or what she's seeing is wrong. Maybe it's influenced by something, God knows what, the math or some other being, and then it just turns out to be a big hallucination or self-caused. So I don't know. I feel like we've had some sort of debate on this before, where it's like, is what she sees like predestined? Is it going to happen, or is it just like
bullshit?
An inkling of like, here's one of the bajillion like paths the universe could take as we look into the future.
Yeah,
because that's totally a number. By the way,
I think I thought of a brilliant idea in order to get our sub count up.
Shaving your head wasn't enough?
No, the thumbnail for the episode has to be when DeMarzel gets the prime radiant out of her chest.
That's the best freaking part of the episode.
Just do that. Just put that as the thumbnail of there. We have a couple contenders for best thumbnail of the episode. DeMarzel going for the prime radiant, which I want to know who decided they're just gonna put it between her boobs like that. We're just gonna put the prime radiant right between them.
I think they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Who decided to do that? The other one would be when Dave finds out that Song is a lesbian. Oh. That would be, which I still think there's hope. I still think there's hope if she gets her memories back to find out, and we get some sort of love story there between Day and her. And then the third has to be the mule just finding a way to just hack everybody's cell phones, futuristic cell phones. Like, who did he get to work for him inside of there? He had I'm assuming a mole or mule. The mule has a mole.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just took it over with his brain power somehow, turned it on and just streamed to it. I feel like there's a fourth contender though to this, best thumbnail, and for me it's Harry Selden looking so dumbfounded,
confused,
and I shocked. Like he froze. Dude had a glitch, an error, and just zapped.
Do we think he's full of crap though?
What do you mean?
They ask him who's the mule, and he says, "What is the mule?"
No, I don't think he's full of crap. I don't think he knew. I think he had absolutely no idea. I think I mean, he was going, and the way he played into like the whole, like rattling off like, oh, you're experiencing this and blah 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 blah. I'm this all-knowing human being, or not human being. Um, and then the mule topic comes up, and he's just like, that doesn't quite compute. What? And then he totally looked like he glitched out. So I don't think he's faking it. I think he was for once in this show caught off guard.
He lost a lot of aura in that scene.
Yeah.
Because he kind of chickened out, and he was like, quick, put the null field back up.
He did. And that's why I think it was real. Like, I think he did. Don't think he knows who the mule is. He's shitting his pants.
He lost a lot of clout. I mean, let's not forget, Harry is maybe not Gale, because I'm off the Gale boat right now. I'm off. She needs to bring me back on and convert me back with her metallic powers.
Her death wasn't enough. Or not death.
Her death today in this episode?
Yeah. No,
it wasn't enough. No, Harry. No, there's no doubt. There's something different with Harry, right? Not to mention that he was brought back to life by some weird power that we have no explanation for yet.
Yeah.
Secondly, he exists as this hologram. Thirdly, the vault opens on an eclipse while the guy's playing the Visi sonar instrument. It's like there's something weirdly in tune with Harry and everything going on. So I'm cool with Harry's, theatrics, so to speak.
Yeah.
But no doubt he looked like a wuss sending that null field back up immediately. Oh, yeah. Although I have a feeling. So there's a couple things I think that these people did. Gale and Harry, I think they did two things that were sneaky in this episode. I think Harry did know about the mule. It's like no way to me that he didn't know, but I could be wrong. And then Gale, I think, might have done something sneaky on DeMarzel. And I could be wrong. But when DeMarzel's getting her visions, trying to see into Gale's mind, I don't know if that transmits to the mule, but the mule is getting the same recurring dream. He says it at the start of this episode when he wakes up.
Yeah.
If Gale was able to swap her face for DeMarzel's, knowing that the mule's going to Trantor, but then again, he's going to meet DeMarzel and she's going to say her name. I don't know. I kind of just had a fleeting thought, like, what if Gale did the old switcheroo and switched her face? But then again, I'm going to debunk my own theory right now, as I often do. He did say he got a name to go with the face because he already had the face.
Thousands of times, by the way. Thousands of times he's had this dream.
So my switcheroo will not work. But you got to give Apple credit because they also did a switcheroo with the Vision because they recast that Vision out. Now it's the new actor.
Yes. Yeah, they did a good job with that. They fooled me, that's for sure. I totally thought that was who it was from last season. But I kind of had a similar, maybe not necessarily thought, but question when I was seeing DeMarzel observe Gale's visions. I was wondering, does it go both ways? Does the mule somehow see this? And I don't think that's the case. I feel like they experience the same thing from a different perspective on their own time. I don't think it's a conjoined thing where they both sleep and they both, enter the same environment and like do this role play thing and then wake up. I just think they experience the same nightmare in their brains on their own time.
I want to know this. So up till now, we thought the Visi sonar was amplifying what the mule can do. But it turns out he doesn't need Magnifico to essentially turn an entire fleet against themselves by just sitting in orbit, pretty much. So how far does it extend, dude? I mean, with that power alone, he can go and take over Trantor whenever he wants. He doesn't even need the guy with his instrument. I was so kind of, I don't know if we're just doing time warps here to get to Trantor as quick as possible, because I really do think that this season of the show was critical to get the green light on season 4, in my opinion. I don't know if season 4 was already greenlit or not prior to this, or if they've announced it or not. But season 3 to me was a critical one to keep this show running for another 3 seasons, and I think they're on the path to doing it. But I have a couple question marks in terms of like, how did he find out to go to the first Foundation planet? How did he know the vault was opening? maybe they'll answer that. Maybe he has somebody on the inside, but up till now, it's been sort of a mystery.
Yeah. I'm seeing that, season 4 was greenlit. So they quietly greenlit it, I guess. So
Who's
that's
the
nice.
source? Because your sources sometimes.
Collider is one of
Collider's
them.
decent.
Deadline.
Okay. Yeah, should be solid then.
So
Not that these are like the foundations of truth, but when it comes to entertainment stuff, they're usually the
Love
second
the
foundations of
love
truth.
the play on words there. It's great.
You know, Any thoughts on how the mule found out and was able to kind of crash this party of the vault opening?
I don't know that he was intentionally crashing the vault opening. I feel like that was more of just, what happenstance, where you right place, right time, sort of
You think
thing.
so? Okay.
I think he was just heading. Like, I feel like everybody knew where Magnifico Giganticus was going. Like, everybody's had tabs on this person, so I feel like he was just kind of following him.
Do we think that okay, so there's kind of like what I like about the foundation is that they do these little what you would think are throwaway lines. Throwaway lines that end up being mega massive plot pieces. Okay. And the mule, if you can rewind it to the beginning of the episode and kind of go like a third of the way through his I almost said wet dream. His no, through his
Shit.
through his nightmare, like his you give me some subtitles there so I can see. I think it's before this, like maybe 15 seconds before this.
All right.
He says, "Did you have a nightmare?" He says, "Of a vision." No, you got to go further before this. Sorry, this is riveting podcasting material, guys.
We gotta.
He says that
essentially.
he says something along the lines of, "If Zach can't get it, you got to go further back, maybe 30 seconds before this when he wakes up."
All right. Well, it's got to be this one because this is the beginning of the episode.
The guy asks him, "Well, did you have a nightmare?" He says, "No, a vision," and then he says something along the lines of, "I've always felt that my life was being controlled by a vision that someone else had," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see what the line exactly was, but the subtitles are not working now.
They're not working at all now.
Either
Come
way,
on, Apple.
just refresh it and try again. But I'll keep going. He essentially says that he feels like his life is essentially the vision that someone else had, or something like that. And I do wonder if we know the mule. I'm hearing the audio. We do, is that going to pop through in the podcast? That'd be hilarious.
I don't think so. No. I hear the subtitles are working though.
Okay. For years, I've always felt I was wearing someone else's dreams. The same face haunting me. So he's talking about the Gale one, but Gale also mentioned that beneath this whole take over the galaxy plot, that there was something deeper to what the mule was doing. So I do feel like there's some element of the mule's backstory that we're going to find out that there's some other agenda to what he's doing that's beneath the surface completely, that there's going to be more players that come into play, but we will see.
Well, I mean, I feel like the mule and Gale both kind of have this sense of either living somebody else's dream or, they're being controlled or something along those lines. Maybe this has to do with the, Callie, the, whatever you want to call that being, a spirit, a robot, or whatever. I don't know yet. That whisked Harry off into an alternate.
Yeah, maybe, or
something.
Maybe it's something a little less mystical. There was another throwaway line in this episode that I thought might be important. I know they called Beta a climber in the last episode, essentially someone who climbs for social status in some sense, but she also has a very specific line to Magnifico where she says, "I'm very good at making people love me," or something like that. And that's essentially the same thing the mule said, like, "You will learn to love me," or something along those lines. I'm wondering if Beta might have some sneaky metallic powers that we don't know about yet.
See, I was wondering that too until we got towards the end of the episode where the vault was closing and we had the null field coming up. She blacked out, but Torrent didn't black out at all, right? Well, I guess he doesn't have the metallic powers though, does he? No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
Never mind then. I don't know why. Maybe she does.
Maybe Torrent does, you think?
No, maybe she does have those powers. I don't know why I was thinking when I was watching this. I'm like, oh, he didn't black out. Maybe it's because he's got these powers as well. But it's unrelated.
It's a little far back. But did Salvor have any issues with the null field?
No, remember she was the only person on the planet on Terminus that could walk up to the null field.
So people who are metallics can walk up to it, which means the Mule's probably going to walk up to it next episode.
That's what I would imagine.
Shit, he'll probably open it if I had to guess. He'll get Ebling Miss and he'd be like, "Open it!"
Yeah.
And Ebling will do his thing. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like I would be shocked if in the next episode we immediately jump to Trantor. There's got to be something more that happens here. It can't just be like this 10-second battle where we blow half of your ships out of the sky and then we also take your ships and then we dip from your planet. Like, there's got to be something earth-shattering, galaxy-shattering, whatever you want to consider it, that gets revealed in the next episode. I would imagine in some dialogue between the Mule and Harry. I think that's inevitable.
We also found out that Dawn is dead. I was right about that.
Supposedly. She could be lying. I don't think she's lying, but she could be lying. She could, you never know.
Well, she's going to bring him back to life with the same exact memories. So it
That's
doesn't matter. He will come back essentially the same in some sense. Maybe a little jaded. Yeah, we can talk. I want to kind of save the DeMarzel stuff for last or maybe we can do it now. I was a bit harsh on the whole trust me bro psychohistory stuff because I do think that they gave a good explanation as to how the psychohistory, the Prime Radiant model is so well fleshed out. And I do think it makes a lot of sense if you're able to get the data from like this all-knowing robot, right? Mm-hmm. Then you can kind of see why the Prime Radiant has such a good data modeling, so to speak, if we're going to use some fancy terms, right? Because they're able to go 500 years back, which is not a lot in the grand history of humanity.
Yeah.
But who knows what other memories they injected into her before she was born or something like that. You never know. So I thought that was a pretty good backstory. What was funny about that?
Oh, you talking about her being born. I don't know why. Made me laugh.
Oh, true. Man, GPT's pulling a number on me, pal.
Good old 5.
I won't go down a rabbit hole because people are not enjoying 5 very much. But I like the fact that we got a little bit of explanation there of how exactly did he put this model together. Because to be honest with you, the whole show requires you to do that sort of just trust me, it makes sense type of thing with the psychohistory stuff, Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that it answered a question I didn't know I had. Right? Like, I feel like that's the way that I felt about that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Also, like, just how entangled DeMarzel seems to be with Harry. I'm now, like, thinking back on all of these random episodes where they're in the same... Well, there might be, like, a handful.
It did. It's a good point. It made me want to go back and watch the first episode.
Yeah. Well, the first episode, it also makes me want to go back and watch the episode where Harry Selden gives DeMarzel the Prime Radiant, which is also very interesting.
True. If she was the reason it was sort of made, then why not give it to her? If the reason she made it was that she was not a believer in the Foundation, but a believer that the Foundation and the Empire were not mutually exclusive, so to speak, then it would make sense. Yeah. Also interesting that Harry did not tell Gale. So, okay. The other Harry knew about the Mule. This one did not. Which speaks that they're completely separate.
Correct. And I think we knew they were completely separate. Like their beings diverged, right? Like way early on in the show. But
was that part of the plan, Zach?
What?
That was part of the plan, right? To have 2 separate Harrys. The show is confusing sometimes.
Yes, I believe the answer to that is yes, because there was, because he was also.
He knew that Calais was going to resurrect his body.
No, I don't think he knew Cal. I don't like that. I think is where the story like deviated. But remember, before his body was resurrected, he was yet a different, like hologram kind of person, right? He was trapped in the Prime Radiant, in season 2. So yeah, I think that was always the plan, right? There was going to be 2 like reincarnations of him, one on the first foundation, one on the second foundation.
Okay. We spoke about DeMarzel. Oh, okay. I remember the point I was going to say. Why do you think Harry didn't tell Gale about DeMarzel? And just the fact of how crucial, because both Harrys would have known how crucial DeMarzel was to creating the data, and they didn't tell her. So what's the deal with that?
I don't know. Maybe they wrote it off as irrelevant after the fact. Maybe.
No,
maybe.
Man, it couldn't have been irrelevant. She literally is the reason it exists. If she didn't,
she's
do
the
what
reason
she did,
it exists. But is she in their mind? Is she relevant to the future? Right? Like, I don't know.
An immortal robot that stands by the entity that you're seeking to destroy. I would say it's a little bit relevant. The fact that if he knew she was a robot from the very beginning, then he knows that she is specifically there to keep the Empire alive. Right? So.
It does seem like a very big thing to leave out. I'll leave it at that. It seems
Dude,
like
it's like
to not communicate.
I take you under my wing to run my business. And I'm like, Zach, this is the plan for my business. We got to take down, Bob Johnson's production company, okay? But I don't tell you for 150 years. What you don't know about Bob Johnson is he wrote the business plan. Without Bob Johnson, my company doesn't exist. Wouldn't that be pertinent information since you're the chosen one, Zach, to take my production company over his? I mean,
my analogy was a completely different direction.
I'm just saying it would be a little pertinent to know this.
It would be important. I was gonna make the analogy of it's like going to war with a country, nobody telling you they have like nuclear arms or something like that. It seems like that significance of a thing to.
Let's do that one. Let's do one. I bring you on as my chief war advisor. Okay, and we gotta go take out. I don't know. We gotta take out North Korea. But I don't tell you that the reason we have everything we have is because North Korea also helped us get it. Now this episode's gonna get flagged.
I know. Why? We're not doing that.
Just put the DeMarzel thumbnail up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We might get flagged for that. But Mycogen, bro. Okay, my favorite part of this episode was Mycogen. The world building, it looks super cool. That's where I would be chilling in Trantor. I would be hanging out down there taking weird pastries from different street vendors. I thought it was going to be drugs, but it looked like a little macaroon or something.
I thought he was going to like pass out, like he was going to be roofied or something.
He's got the shades of Johnny Depp and like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas type of thing. He's even got like the little hat. All he's missing is the toothpick out the side of his mouth, the cigarette. Mm-hmm. If we had any hope of Mycogen having easy names to remember, we are screwed. We got from last episode, we got Sunmaster 19 or the hell, or Sunmaster 18. We got Songbird 19. We got Eternal Waterboarding or Eternal Water Glass. What was her name? Water Glassing?
Don't ask me.
We're done for. With those names,
once she was like, "I'm Songbird 17," I'm like, dude, no, I'm done.
I'm Songbird 19, and then she introduces her girlfriend. I'm Water Glass 17, like
Waterboarding 23.
Yeah, what the hell? And Dave's face was like my face trying to remember these names. It's about as bad as it can go, right? He's thrown away. All right, so he's thrown away his kingship, right, or his emperor status, which is bigger than king, right?
Yeah.
He has gone down to the slums of Trantor, which look very nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how Trantor is constructed because it would almost look like Trantor is like also on, flat ground, but this is in a canyon. I just don't understand how deep into where are we in this planet? And why is it always nighttime down here? Anyways, So he throws out his emperor status to go get the love, the love of his life back, to find out that she's engaged to oh no, she's not engaged, she's married to another woman. And he's like, what? And now she's refusing to take the memories in, which you can't really blame her for that. But there's no doubt that she loved him. There's absolutely no doubt that she loved him.
You think? Because
I think she loved him.
Well, I was wondering. I mean, it's
Call
possible.
me a romantic.
I mean, you do tend to, veer in that direction on every scenario we ever run into on these shows. But I was thinking, because she has, while she's with Day, all of her memory of who she was before she was with Day, right?
Oh, shoot. So she was lying behind it. She was,
Yeah.
So you're saying she's trifling.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oof.
Right? So she's playing a game.
Well, maybe she was two-timing her girl. Maybe she was two-timing her girl.
It's
with
possible.
Mr.
And
Emperor.
like there's totally a possibility there, but I think there's also a strong possibility that what she's saying here is valid, and it was like,
But I think
lying.
that she loved Day more than random woman over here, Waterglass 17. Okay. We should have introduced ourselves in the show as random names like that.
We should have introduced ourselves in this show wearing a deep ass V-neck. That's what we should have done.
I'm sure I got a deep V-neck from my high school days somewhere when V-necks were in style.
But you're gonna have to take scissors to that thing and make it like 5 times deeper.
I don't know, man. I had one from like H&M back in the day. It's not a V-neck, it's a crew neck. It's borderline Torrin level. No, it's not Torrin level, because Torrin's is like, I think him and Beta have reversed gender roles in their marriage. In fact, at one point, they've demeaned Torrin to such a degree that Magnifico refers to him as Beta's pet.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, bro, that's some real slander towards husbands out there in some sense. But then again, maybe that's just the dynamic they got.
It could be. He does seem rather effeminate.
He is definitely the effeminate of the two, for sure.
Yeah.
He's got nails painted. He's got a more feminine
rings.
I mean, he's wearing a shirt that a woman would wear. So, but then again, this is like hyper futuristic, right? So they're probably going in the direction of like, unisex fashion in the future or something.
Yeah, it does have a very cyberpunky vibe. And
she's got the red leather jacket on, like Ryan Gosling in Drive, or the Akira leather jacket thing with boots on.
Yeah.
Well, he's got so there's definitely that is the dynamic between the two, for sure.
Yeah, she seems to have her shit together a lot more. She's the one breaking up the fights too later on between Randu and Han Pritchard.
I mean, they are two of the more likable characters in this season, hands down. And I did say Magnifico had a bit of a Chewbacca like aspect to him. He just seems like Chewbacca, dude. To me, like personality wise, he's just kind of like the friendly guy who goes along with everything. And then you have this ragtag group of rebels that I think Torrin, Beta, Pritchard are all going to turn into. They seem like very much the same spaceship vibes, like they're all going to be Guardians of the Galaxy type of thing.
Yeah, I could kind of see something like that where they all come together, band together, and form their own little militia or something. The only thing with Magnifico being Chewbacca-esque is Chewbacca's nice, like he's friendly and all, but that dude's got some strength. I don't know.
No, but I'm saying Chewbacca in the sense of like he's more Chewbacca than C-3PO.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that.
Yeah, or maybe he's more R2-D2.
I don't know about that,
because R2-D2 was like necessary because he had like a transmission he needed to get across, right?
Yeah.
So maybe like Chewbacca at the end of the day was just Han Solo's best friend, right?
Yeah.
So I think
somewhere.
I think what happens is everybody gets word of what happened down at near the vault. The girl who's in love with Pritchard breaks him out, and then you get this little spaceship with Pritchard, Torrin, Randu, Beta, Magnifico, and and then the girl who I'm blanking on her name, who was the buzz cut.
I don't.
They all join together, and they're like the wild card factor in this whole battle going on. They're the wild card factor, which they do need to go to Trantor and be a part of it. And I guess Randu's going to have a bigger role to play because the way Harry Selden meets him, he's like, oh, a Mallow nonetheless. So Mallows are like the the famous last name, like, the chosen ones in some sense. So I think Randu and Torin are going to have a mega part to play. And let's not forget, it's very weird. Like, I found it weird how everybody was affected by the null field, but Torin wasn't crazy affected by the null field.
No, he didn't seem affected by the null field that much, and he also did not seem to be that affected by Magnifico's instrument.
Oh. No, but then he broke it down pretty well.
He did break it down well, but he didn't appear visually to be as affected. I think it's totally possible that he was purely observing what was happening and saying this is what it does.
Well, let's also mention this. Everybody in that nightclub was under a trance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The only 3 people or 4 people who were not affected by that trance were Torin, Beta, Pritchard, and Magnifico, from what I could tell. Right?
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe Beta. I said we kind of played with the idea earlier. She could be a Mentalic, man. We don't know. We don't know. I do like their characters though, man. By far, even on a filler episode, I was hooked from beginning to end. I'm very invested in all these characters. I like I just like the general direction of this season. And I do think we're heading to where I originally said, where we're going to end with a not resolved conflict with the Mule. I don't think the Mule is a 1-season villain. I think he's probably a 2-season villain. Where this is not going to be resolved. We'll get like a mega cliffhanger at the end of this season, and then it'll be straight back to work in production for next season. And it does seem like this show's doing better because it's in the top 3 every time I see it.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised this show's not a little higher in the rankings every time I pull it up, but it definitely feels a lot better than season 2 felt. And I enjoyed season 2. Like, there was a lot of things that you and I picked on in season 2, but I still really enjoyed it. This is definitely a tier above season 2 in my opinion. So I really hope they keep it up. I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on. But yeah, I feel like I think you're right. I don't think we're gonna end this season with some resolution on the Mule. I feel like we're bound to let this carry on another one.
So according to GPT-5, Parrot Analytics, so Apple doesn't actually publicly release their traditional viewer count. So for most of their shows, it seems like they do the thing where they celebrate their wins. They let you know when they've won, but they don't publicize their losses.
Yeah.
Right. And like I've mentioned before, they've got a lot of money. So, and they need to, if they're going to compete in the IP world, they got to build IP, and they're going to just build it, even I think at sunk cost sometimes. So that's why I think certain shows have made it longer than they would have on, for example, AMC or HBO or other networks, right? Like, for example, For All Mankind, if it had been on HBO, it probably gets canceled by season 3. If I had to guess. Anything to add?
So repeat what you just said. What was going to be cut?
If For All Mankind was like on HBO, I think it would have been canceled by season 3.
Yeah, probably. Although that last season did really come around though.
No, the last season was awesome, but that wasn't season 3. That was like season 5.
Yeah.
So I'm talking Jimmy season. Anyways, Parrot Analytics says that it is currently 25.1 times the average for US TV shows, placing it within the top 2.7% of all series. Season 3 has maintained strong viewer engagement, picking up solid momentum, and it hit the number 1 slot on Apple TV, which we do already know.
I feel like they've kept much worse shows alive.
I mean, we're entering into the conversation of what are the best shows on television right now? Okay. And we can kind of do a round off in our head of what are the best shows. Severance has got to be probably number 1 right now. Okay. It's probably Severance. It's probably House of the Dragon. Okay. Stranger Things is probably up there in the top 3, if I had to guess. And then I'm sure there's a bunch more that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But let's round off. Like, how far until we hit Foundation? It's got to. Is it a top 10? I'm talking quality. I'm not talking viewers.
I would think Foundation's a top 10 for me.
I don't know about top five. I don't think top five, but
I
top
would
10?
maybe of all time, or you mean
No, hell no.
of right
Hell no.
now?
It's not in top 10 of all
Yeah,
time.
I was gonna say like of all time, no,
No,
but like
right now. I'm talking
right
right
now.
now. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm struggling to think of other shows that I'm just like really looking forward to.
I'm not
There's
putting
plenty of shows where like I'll binge the hell out of it. Wednesday, I binged the first half of that season. I can't continue that for another like 3 weeks, until the second half comes out. But there's not a lot that I'm just like, wow, I can't wait for Thursday night, to watch the next episode.
that's kind of my point, is that I do think that it's I think it's gotta be in the upper echelon of quality shows out right now.
Yeah.
Bottom line. We have
Yeah.
fun and poke fun at certain things in the show, but not because we don't enjoy it. It's just because they're shit that we can make fun of, like Trust Me Bro, Psycho. Like, we got to release a course called Psycho History, Trust Me Bro. Like, just Psycho History for dummies. That's what it'll be.
I mean, I could totally use that book myself. So.
Yeah, shoot. Be like
Yeah.
No Fear Shakespeare type level. All right, let's round this one out, shall we?
Yeah, sure. We can. I did want to flag. Don't forget, we got that moment where Gale does, I guess, realize she really does have feelings for Han Pritchard. She calls him on her little necklace device or whatever.
Yeah, but come on, man. You're Mr. Romantic with Gale and Pritchard after what you said about Songbird 19.
It's a different situation. She's looking out for somebody she cares about. Songbird 17.
Hey,
Ain't give
I'll
no
have
crap.
you know, Songbird 19 moved in with Day. She left her life mate, as she said.
But could moving in with Day take I'm pulling these numbers out of my butt, but could that have taken a, $100,000 payday to $100 million pay sabbatical? Whatever you want to
You
call
think
that.
you got to pay him that much to sleep with the Emperor?
I don't know.
Look,
Who knows?
these are people. I'm talking about like DeMarzel and like the whole inner circle. Look what they do to the what do they call those Maven? What was Maven called? A claviger?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They keep their family. I don't think it's claviger. I think we're wrong on that.
No, I think it's a claviger, something along those lines.
Well, they keep their families near the capital, right? Or like near the palace. Why? Because they'll kill them if anybody turns on them. So you think those people who treat their subjects so harshly are going to be paying that kind of wage? I don't think so, personally. She did get a hell of a payout, though, because that apartment, I was expecting her to be slumming it. Nope.
So
that
did
apartment was nice.
I was not expecting that to be her place. But I don't know. I would imagine, look, it's Empire. Empire's got to have money. So I don't know that it's like they're paying so much because Empire is just so disgusting and vile that nobody would want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some level of just, there's a lot of competition out there. So, maybe, they're just paying for
All
the
right.
best,
Let's have a wager here, man. Let's do some wagers. Does Songbird 19 end up with Day again? I'm talking romantically.
Look, I think you're gonna say yes. I'll take odds on that.
You're gonna take against that?
Yeah, I'll say no, because I
Okay.
feel like you want to say yes, so I will say no on that.
So we haven't had Dusk in
Like 2 episodes.
what's his name?
yeah.
Dusk or Dawn? Dusk. My bad.
Dusk.
I don't know. His is like the most forgettable name of the three. Dusk. We haven't seen him in 2 episodes. Okay. Except for the message that he sends. We did see him at the end of the last episode where he gets the message from Dawn.
Mhm.
But Day is the only. I mean, he is technically still the Emperor now because Dawn is dead, right? So, does Day play a role here in the stuff that's gonna hit the fan when the Mule shows up? Because the Mule's gonna arrive and be like, "Where's the Emperor?" And there is gonna be none, except for Dusk, right? So does Day have? I'm rooting for something that I almost am certain is not going to happen. But I want Day to have like a Simba moment almost, like when Simba's going up the rock and it's raining and stuff. But we don't have that kind of relationship with Day. He's not like he's not the exiled prince. So we're not going to get that epic, Simba versus Scar moment. But I want Day to have. I want one of these damn Cleons to do something positive, man. Just one of them. And then the one time somebody does, he gets used by Gale Dornick.
He does. I just had a thought cross my mind. What if the way... I don't want to say the way this ends or the way the season ends or anything like that. I don't know when this would happen. What if the Mule, Gale, everybody, they get to Trantor, they're looking for Day, like you're saying, like, where the hell's the Empire? And then there's this jump cut to Dusk firing the weapon right at Trantor that he has. Well, and that just collapses everything into a black hole, and that's maybe the black abyss that, Gale
Me and you have been haunted by the same dream, my friend, because I literally was thinking the exact same thing. When they said the whole thing about 4 months from now, you're going to be in the ergosphere of a black hole, revolving it in some way. I said, what is the only thing that's probably big enough to create a black hole? It's got to be that weapon. So he's going to use that weapon to destroy something. Is the Mule going to commandeer the weapon? What's going to happen? Do they find out where the second foundation is? And that's what turns it in the black hole. I don't know. Yeah. I have a feeling the planet of the second foundation is more likely to be destroyed than Trantor is this season. Like, I don't see Trantor being sucked into a black hole. Just don't see it happening.
Well,
would you like to take that wager with me? I think the second foundation gets destroyed, like the planet gets destroyed, and that's where the black hole happens, and that's the end of the season. Is that
okay? All right, so let's just say
that's a big one. I should get like the
black hole planet. Hey, bro, are you kidding? You getting points? I'm the one taking odds and saying Trantor, the biggest freaking planet, is going to get blown up after Caligan already got murdered. So who knows?
I guess. You know what though? So
black hole planet.
I did guess right on Dawn dying of the three, and I think that was like a odds-on toughest odds in my opinion.
I mean, I'm surprised he died. I mean, if he did die, I imagine he will be back.
He did die. He's gonna be back, but he did die.
Mario says the black hole planet is New Terminus. No, not New Terminus. What is the planet that they're on? Ignis. And Zach says Trantor.
I mean, you could take the field if you want to like increase the odds. You could take the field.
I would say Trantor, I think, is more likely to get blown up. I mean, that's where this. Let's think about this for a moment, just logically for a moment, because now that the bet is set in stone, it's been said in public. Every time Gale projects herself into the future, she sees everything up to the moment where she and the Mule are having this, whatever you want, not stare down, but they're going at it, they're going at each other. And she can't see past that ever. And DeMarzel confirms that, well, the location of your vision is actually on Trantor, right? It's in the library, right? So if that's the last moment she sees, and if we're right that this whole black abyss that we see afterwards is the result of this super black hole weapon that Dusk has sitting around somewhere for 2 episodes.
Is that the period of darkness that they talked about?
That's what I'm saying. Maybe he ends up firing the weapon at Trantor, and Trantor may not be destroyed, but in his own words, it'll be forever changed, right? I don't know what exactly that means. It could be destroyed, but I feel like that's a pretty good argument for ending with Trantor being blown up with this super weapon.
That would be an epic cliffhanger ending that the Age of Darkness begins at the end of this season. Honestly, Gale dying would be the craziest thing that could happen, in my opinion. Yeah. And the reason I say that is because we've been so conditioned to
hear her
her
voice every freaking episode.
and conditioned to believe that she's going to survive to the end of this thing, that it would be crazy to see her die. However, DeMarzel did mention, when she mentioned the black hole, she said that there was something that she could hear coming from the black hole.
There's a frequency. Yeah.
A frequency. That's like the mystery of the season right there, in my opinion. What the hell is coming? There shouldn't be a frequency coming from the black hole.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I've never been in one, so I
Me
don't
neither.
know.
No firsthand experience myself.
Yeah.
Hopefully never have one. You know, they do say that the reason our planet moves is because of our entire solar system moves is because of some distant black hole that causes the entire
I've
galaxy.
heard our entire universe could actually be inside of a black hole, because when you look at the way that black holes move and expand, if you were to flip your perspective from the outside to the inside, it's this ever going expanse. And if our universe is just spreading out and expanding in all directions at all times, seems like a, I don't know, reasonable, a plausible theory that we actually live in a black hole.
Could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a
black hole expert, so to speak.
Astrophysicist or whatever you want to call that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's do categories, or any more wagers you want to do?
Let's do it. No, I think those are good wagers. We got 3 so far, right? So we can maybe fit a couple more in before we wrap this up. Let's start with favorite scene of the episode.
DeMarzel, with Gale, 100%. For me.
I kept going back and forth between that and what I ended up choosing, which was the vault. Like everything towards the end of this episode with the vault opening, this mayor being in there jumping in and being like, "And I'm Marion Burr." I'm like, oh, okay.
Gosh, I was waiting for Harry to zap him.
So was I, but that didn't happen. I thought that was a very interesting scene. How about favorite character? I will admit, this was the toughest one for me.
DeMarzel, for me. I thought it was a pretty easy one. First and foremost, just how central she's been to the story. And there's almost like a comedic kind of tilt to her dialogue in this one. Specifically when she blacks out after doing that sort of mind meld thing with Gale. Mm-hmm. And then she wakes up and she says, "My system did a hard reboot, which caused a localized EMP." I actually laughed at that. I found that kind of hilarious. That her reboot is so powerful that it caused a freaking EMP to go off. That caused the whole ship systems to go kind of crazy.
It's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, is it Gale? I'm like, no, it's not Gale. Was it Harry? No, it's not Harry. Was it Torrin or Bait? No, it wasn't. The only person I could land on in this episode for me for favorite character was honestly the Mule. I thought and the reason why I went with the Mule was because this is the first episode I've ever seen of the Mule where he was actually scared. Like, he seemed scared at the beginning of the episode. And I thought that was a very interesting perspective to see from him. And there's just something about the gravity that he holds when he enters the room. Like later on in the episode. You mean, where is the Mule? It's great. So, for me, it's the Mule. How about favorite line?
Oh, dude, I don't. We might have to retire this category. I'll be honest with you. We might have to, for certain shows. I can't recall a line in this episode that stood out to me, and when I can't think of one, I don't even like to say one.
Well, okay,
but you can.
That's
by all
fine.
means, if you have one, please.
My favorite line was really just Harry going, "What is the Mule?" And just like being caught off guard. Like I feel like that's the first time I've seen Harry be caught off guard, with the exception of season 1 when Gale screws up his plans.
Yeah.
So
I guess mine would be the DeMarzel, the localized EMP line, or the Mules at the beginning when he says that he feels like his whole life has been haunted by someone else's dreams. I thought that was a pretty good line.
That's a good one too.
Yeah. The thing is, for me, is like I like the lines that are a little more
deep,
like poetic. like sounding in some way.
You always do. Sometimes I do too, but for me, it's always it's like the funny moments, the gotcha moments, or something that's just like, I didn't quite expect that. I find them funny. I find them memorable to me. So,
or when I was a little bit insulted for Torin, but when Magnifico says, when he says, my queen, my master, her pet. I was like, damn, is that what Torin? I didn't know we were gonna do Torin like that.
Tell me how you really feel, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those are all of the categories I've got. You got anything else before we close this out and get ready for next episode?
No. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content we're making and kind of enjoying this kind of season that we're in for and what we're going into for the rest of it. I think we got the show till mid-September. So,
I think so.
I'm excited.
That feels right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Foundation by Story Archives. You can find this podcast anywhere you find podcasts, Apple and Spotify primarily. You can visit us on, our website at soapbox.house, and you'll find links to the show everywhere. Apple, YouTube, Instagram, whatever you want. So be sure to check us out there.
Yes, absolutely. All right. But if you do want the exclusive visual viewing experience, you will have to go to YouTube because we're no longer putting our video episodes on Apple and Spotify.
Yeah. Well, Spotify never published it to Apple, which was always stupid. But anyways, yeah. You want the video? Come to YouTube, hit subscribe, like, share it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Alrighty, y'all. Have a good one. Have a great weekend.
Peace.